plumberparts.co.uk. Honest reviews and advice. Holla and welcome to today's plumberparts.co.uk video. I'm sure you're looking forward to this amazing time that we're about to have talking about water softeners. What we're going to show you today is how to remove an old water softener. We'll point some tips towards you if you're actually fitting a new one in a place where there hasn't been one fitted before, and then we'll also give you a brief outline of how they work and what you need to do to keep them maintained and sexy. It's been a pretty brutal Christmas, I gotta say, but I have lost some weight, which is cool. But anyway, here we go. So I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you've got any questions or anything like that, let us know. And if you want to know the theory about how water softeners work, just click on the link at the end of this video. If you want to buy a water softener, click on the link below. You guys know the drill. Anyway, let's go. Hold tight. Right, the best thing we can do to understand this install a little bit better is to actually trace it out. We've currently got the cold water turned off. The cold water main valve, the isolation valve, is this lever valve here. Okay, so hard water comes in through this pipe into our beautiful meter that I know we all want to bypass, but we can't because it's illegal. Right, the next bit comes out of the meter. Now that T runs off there. That goes off to an outside tap because we don't want to be softening water that goes outside. Softened water doesn't taste very nice. People don't really like it. Apparently, per glass of softened water, you've got the same amount of sodium as a pint of milk or a slice of bread, but don't hold me to that, I don't know. Anyway, so our cold water's coming up here. This is unsoftened. This is hard water here. Now, it tees off that way, up to the kitchen tap. It's important that you tee off up to the kitchen tap before you go into your water softener manifold, because people don't like drinking softened water, like I've just said, and you don't want to soften it. The first place it goes is you go off to the kitchen tap, because that's where most of the drinking water is going to come out. Anyway, next bit. So there is our pipe that goes off to our kitchen tap, unsoftened. Now, the water will come up here and either go off to that tap or off round here. Now, we follow this bit down. Now, this part here, you can see this whole lot just there is really, really important. Firstly, what we want in normal operation, when the water softener is installed and everything and finished, is that valve shut and these two valves open. So cold water will come down this pipe here, into this pipe here. This is unsoftened water. It will go through into the back of our water softener, get softened, and then come back on the outlet under that valve there, and then off to your system. All softened water that is going down there. The reason we have this valve here is if anything goes wrong with this water softener, we can turn that valve off, and then turn this valve on, and then we can play around with the water softener and get that going, but also then the customer doesn't have any disruption to their water supply. Now, most of the time when you go to a house to fit a water softener, all you're probably going to have is that cold water stopcock at the bottom, your main stopcock, then your water meter, and then it will just go up to your taps and off everywhere else. So what I'm saying is, when you come to a house that hasn't had a water softener previously installed, you're probably going to have to fit that whole manifold and also give a dedicated cold water supply up to that kitchen tap. So that's the first thing you have to do really before you think about installing a water softener. If a customer ever asks me, do you think I should have a water softener? If they live in a hard water area, then it's always a good idea, especially if they have a combi boiler, because the close plate heat exchanger, you've got all that horrible muck going through it, all the limescale and magnesium and calcium, and it will easily clog up that plate heat exchanger. Then as an installer, you have to look at a few options, right? The best place for anyone to fit a water softener is generally under the kitchen sink, purely because of what we were saying about that cold water feed going up to that tap that's unsoftened. So look into that. If you're thinking about getting one, have you got a space near your kitchen sink where you draw most of your drinking water, and where your mains comes in, is there a space near there that will allow you to fit it in? So anyway, here's a quick look at what we have to do to actually install one of these beasts. I hope you enjoy it very much. We might well get a little bit of water come out here, so it might still be under a bit of pressure. Right, so now we've got those two off, you can disconnect the power supply to the water softener. A lot of water softeners will be metered by water that goes through them, and therefore they'll regenerate using the flow of water going through them. So a lot of them will not need a power supply. So make sure about that before you take one out or fit a new one in. Research whether you need to get a power supply into the area where you need to install your water softener. Generally just try and strip out a few bits off the old water softener itself. Also, one thing I'd recommend if you're taking out an old water softener is, if the brine chamber's full of water, get a cup or something like that once you've disconnected it and just take that lot out, because that water can be heavy. And if you're like me and you're suffering from a bit of sciatica at the moment, I'm getting old, you don't want to be lifting up a vast weight of water. Right, if you can, if it's nice and easy, just pop your running board out from under your kitchen sink, and then you can actually, should be able to just pull this out and find all the spiders down there. Right, so looking at the back of this old one here, we've got our 2 hoses here and here, but this here, very shoddily installed, is the discharge pipe. This bit off here, and that should pull out lovely. Also, the manufacturer of the new water softener don't supply hoses. So, ask the manufacturers when you're about to buy one, do they supply hoses? If they don't, then you're going to have to buy some, or use your old ones if you're replacing an old water softener. So we're going to have to use these ones here. I'm sure they'll be fine. Right, now we've disconnected everything, so this can just be pulled out of the way. Right, we know we've got that out of the way, just give it a little brush under here and clear everything up. Right, so we bring over our new water softener. This one's made by Reckin. Right, we've got pretty much the same thing going on with the pipes, okay? There might be a slightly different way round. If we look at the top of this one, you'll see there's an arrow there. That denotes the hard water in, and then you'll go in, get softened, and then go out in this softened outlet here. We've also got our discharge in the middle, like the old one. And also down here, we've got an overflow pipe for the brine chamber. So the first thing we need to do really is measure a height up from here, and then cut a hole out the back wall, because all that's going to be is an overflow. Cut that hole through the wall, and then pop that in first. Let's do that now. I'm just going to go out the bottom here. Lovely. Before we carry on, just pop our overflow pipe, get that so it's straightened out, because it's got to go through a cavity and that'll catch something. Once we've got that pulled through and pushed in, we can get our water softener in place. And then you can plug your overflow in just like that. They haven't supplied any Jubilee clips for this, and it's not under any pressure, so this should do fine. Right, now we've got that bit done, I usually prepare for the discharge. They've got a small adapter that goes onto their discharge port out the back that they've already very nicely PTFE'd for us. So you better just do that up like so on there. Real tight that is, I don't think that's going to leak. Oh. Pop out fibre washer in here. We may have to put some sort of jointing compound on here and then wind that on like so. Right, I'm going to take my discharge pipe and I'm just going to measure it out because it's quite long. So I'm going to give it a little bit of slack, probably about that much just here. Cut that through. Then we're going to plug it into our waste just here. Obviously because it's a flexy bit of pipe, there can be a bit of a sod to get on. So get yourself your nice tub of boiling water. Pop your Jubilee clip on first, of course. And then let that warm up nicely, and that will let the pipe go all floppy, and we'll be able to push it on that nipple nice and easily then. Right, once we've got that on, just get a nice Jubilee clip, tighten that up round there, because these can come under a little bit of pressure, these bits. Push that around the back, out of the way. Then tighten these two back up. Now all we need to do is reinstate our pipe work with our inlet and outlet. Obviously our inlet coming in on the arrow into the unit and our outlet going back on the bit out. Really, this is as easy as plugging in a washing machine. So if you get scared, cry for your mum. Make sure your seals are in, otherwise it's going to leak everywhere. Now we've got those two on, we can push our unit back, making sure that our overflow pipe doesn't kink. Look at that. Now what we do is just pull our electrics through, try and run it round behind the pipes. Right, so we've got our inlet and outlet port done, we've got our discharge port done, we've got our overflow pipe going outside done, and we've also got our electrics through. Now all you need to do is turn on all your water again, make sure that your bypass valve is closed and the inlet and outlet valves are both open, and then go up around, test for leaks. Then what we do after that is do a hardness test of the water, which will correlate to the setting you put on the water softener. Right, so we've done our test. Now every unit is different, so I'm not going to go into details about how you do this, but to set up your new water softener or to set up a water softener correctly, you need to know the parts per million of calcium and all the nasty hard parts of the water to degrees Clark, which is a measurement of hardness of water. Once you've got that, the manufacturer will give you guidelines on how to convert that into a unit setting on their machine. Now I've got to set this machine here to a capacity setting of 2.5 because of what all this lot says there, all those sums and that. I'm going to fill it up with salt, we're going to turn it on and we're going to set it to the right capacity setting, and then we're going to set it on for doing a manual regeneration now, and then after that we should all be done and have a lovely soft water. Also, one other thing you need to think about, sometimes some water softeners require you to tell it if you're using block salt or granule salt, so always think about that as well. Read your instructions basically is what I'm saying. Now we'll turn it on. Right, there we go, we've got it on manual regeneration now. That will last about 40 to 45 minutes. While that's doing that, I'm going to clear up here and pop this running board back and it should all be good. And there we go, lully jubbly as they say. I hope we've given you a slightly better understanding of how water softeners work, even though if you want to find that out, click on the link at the end of this video. I hope we've given you an idea of reasonably how easy they are to install. If you need any more help or any more information, visit our website at plumberparts.co.uk. Get on Twitter and tweet to us. Do stuff like that. Get on Facebook and slap us in the face. Chocolate biscuit base. As ever, subscribe to our videos. If you need any more help, any more info, you think we've missed anything out, you think we've done something wrong or anything like that, comment on the video and let everyone know, and above all, let us know. I hope to see you in the next video, which I think is going to be me grinding apart a red expansion vessel. I know a lot of you people on Twitter have been wondering what it's going to be. It's going to be that. I was going to try and get one of my mates, a girl, to stand next to me in a bikini while I did it, because I was going to do it in the dark, and then shower her in sparks. For some reason she didn't want to. Don't know why. Anyway guys, I'll see you later. Remember, there's always one thing you've all got to do, all the time. Never forget it. Especially if you're getting called out at 3 in the morning to someone who you don't like, who you know doesn't pay very well, and they don't have any heating. And just remember one thing. Hold tight. To have a night. Blutting! Removes the magnesium and calcium ions and flushes them away, whereas any other product that isn't a water softener doesn't do that. That's why they're so much better. Now there's a few problems you can sometimes have. Sometimes the valve assembly doesn't work because all this is plumberparts.co.uk. Honest reviews and advice.